Hello everybody, Indira here, and I'm back with the second part of my read-along of The Giraffe, the Pelly, and Me by Roald Dahl.
My name's Capucine. I'm Adele.
I'm Zareen.
I'm Naharka.
I'm Taylor.
Hi, I'm Evan.
I'm Indira. So to give you a quick little recap of what happened, our friend Billy has encountered 3 amazing animals, a giraffe, a pelican, and a monkey. They have their very own window cleaning business, and soon they're employed by the Great Duke. They've started washing their windows, and now we will see what happens next. Suddenly, I saw all 3 of the window cleaners stop dead in their tracks. They seemed to freeze against the wall of the house. None of them moved. "What's happened to them?" the Duke asked me. "What's gone wrong?" "I don't know," I answered. Then the giraffe, with the monkey on her head, tiptoed very gingerly away from the house and came towards us. The pelican flew with him. The giraffe came up very close to the Duke and whispered, "Your Grace, there's a man in one of the bedrooms on the 3rd floor. He's opening all the drawers and taking things out. He's got a pistol." The Duke jumped about a foot in the air. "Which room?" he snapped. "Show me at once." "It's the one on the 3rd floor where the windows are wide open," the giraffe whispered. "By God!" the Duke cried. "That's the Duchess's room. He's after her jewels. Call the police, summon the army, bring up the cannon, charge up the light brigade." But even as he spoke, the pelican was already flying up into the air. As he flew, he turned himself upside down and tipped the window cleaning water out of his beak. Then I saw that the top half of his marvelously patented beak sliding out of his head, ready for action. "What's that crazy bird up to?" cried the Duke. "Wait and see," shouted the monkey. "Hold your breath, old man. Hold your nose. Hold your horses and watch the Pelly go." Like a bullet, the pelican flew in through the open window, and 5 seconds later he came out again with his great orange beak firmly closed. He landed on the lawn beside the Duke. A tremendous banging noise was coming from inside the pelican's beak. It sounded as though someone was using a sledgehammer against the inside. "He's got him!" cried the monkey. "The Pelly's got the burglar in his beak!" "Well done, sir!" shouted the Duke, hopping about with his excitement. Suddenly, he pulled the handle of his walking stick upwards, and out of the hollow inside the stick itself, he drew a long, thin, sharp, shining sword. "I'll run him through!" he shouted, flourishing his sword like a fencer. "Open up, pelican! Let me get him! I'll run through the boulder with him before he even knows what's happened to him. I'll spike him like pats of butter. I'll feed his gizzards to my foxhounds." But the pelican did not open his beak. He kept it firmly closed and shook his head at the Duke. The giraffe shouted, "The burglar's armed with a pistol, Your Grace. If the pelican lets him out now, he'll shoot us all. He can be armed with a machine gun for all I care," bawled the Duke, his massive mustaches bristling like brushwood. "I'll handle the blighter. Open up, sir, open up." Suddenly, there came an ear-splitting bang, and the pelican leaped 20 feet in the air. So did the Duke. "Watch out!" the Duke shouted. "Take 10 rapid steps backwards. He's trying to shoot his way out," and pointed his sword at the pelican. He bellowed, "Keep that beak closer. Don't you dare let him out. He'll murder us all." "Shake him up, Pelly," cried the giraffe. "Rattle his bones. Teach him not to do it again." The pelican shook his head so fast from side to side that the beak became a blur, and the man inside must have felt like he was being scrambled like eggs. "Well done, Pelly," cried the giraffe. "You're doing a great job. Keep shaking him so he doesn't fire that pistol again." And you can see the pelican furiously shaking. At this point, a lady with an enormous-chested, flaming orange hair came flying out of the house, screaming, "My jewels! Someone's stealing my jewels! My diamond tiara, my diamond necklace, my diamond bracelets, my diamond earrings, my diamond rings! They've had the lot! My rooms have been ransacked!" Then, this massive female, who was 55 years ago had been a world-famous opera singer, suddenly burst into song. "My diamonds are over the ocean, my diamonds are over the sea, my diamonds were pinched from my bedroom, oh bring back my diamonds to me." We were so bowled over by the power of this lady's lungs that all of us, excepting the pelican, who had to keep his beak closed, joined in the chorus. Bring back, oh bring back my diamonds to me, to me. Bring back, oh bring back my diamonds to me." As you can see, here is the Duchess, the opera singer, and the Duke and the chorus. "Calm yourself, Henrietta," said the Duke. He pointed to the pelican and said, "This clever bird, this brilliant burger-catching creature has saved the day. The bounder's in his beak." The Duchess stared at the pelican. The pelican stared back at the Duchess and gave her a wink. "If he's in there," cried the Duchess, "why don't you let him out? Then you can run him through with that famous sword of yours. I want my diamonds. Open your beak, bird." "No, no," shouted the Duke. "He's got a pistol. He'll murder us all." Someone must have called the police, because suddenly no less than 4 squad cars came racing towards us with their sirens screaming. Within seconds, we were surrounded by 6 policemen, and the Duke was shouting, "The villain you were after is inside the beak of that bird. Stand by to collar him up." And to the Pelican, he said, "Get ready to open up. Are you ready? Steady, go! Open her up!" The Pelican opened his gigantic beak, and immediately the policeman pounced on the burglar who was crouched inside. They snatched up the pistol away from him and dragged him out and put handcuffs on his wrist. "Great Scott!" shouted the chief police. "It's the Cobra himself!" "The what? The who?" everyone asked. "Who's the Cobra?" "The Cobra is the cleverest and most dangerous cat burglar in the world," said the chief of police. "He must have climbed up that drain pipe. The Cobra can climb up anything." "My diamonds!" screamed the Duchess. "I want my diamonds! Where are my diamonds?" "Here they are!" cried the chief of police, fishing great handfuls of jewelry from the burglar's pockets. This is the chief of police, the jewels, and the Cobra. The Duchess was so overcome with relief that she fell to the ground in a faint. When the police had taken away the fearsome burglar known as the Cobra, and the fainting Duchess had been carried into the house by her servants, the old Duke stood on the lawn with the Giraffe, the Pelican, the monkey, and me. "Look!" the monkey cried. "The rotten burglar bullet has made a hole in poor Pelly's beak." "That's done it," said the Pelican. "Now it won't be any use for holding water when we clean windows." "Don't you worry about that, my dear Pelly," said the Duke, patting him on the back. "My chauffeur will soon put a patch over it the same way he mends the tires and the rolls. Right now we have far more important things to talk about than a little hole in a beak." We stood there, waiting to see what the Duke was going to say next. "Now listen to me, all of you," he said. "Those diamonds were worth millions, millions and millions, and you have saved them." The monkey nodded, the Giraffe smiled, and the Pelican blushed. "No reward is too great for you," the Duke went on. "I'm therefore going to make you an offer which I hope will give you pleasure. I hereby the Giraffe, the Pelican, and the monkey to live on my estate for the rest of their lives. I shall give you my best and largest hay barn as your private house. Central heating, showers, a kitchen, and anything you desire for your comfort will be installed. In return, you will keep my windows clean and pick my cherries and apples. If the Pelican is willing, perhaps he can also give me a ride in his beak now and then." "A pleasure, Your Grace," cried the Pelican. "Would you like a ride now?" "Later," the Duke said. "I'll have one after tea." At this point, the Giraffe gave a nervous little cock and look at the sky. "Is there a problem?" the Duke asked. "If there is, please let me hear it." "I don't want to sound ungrateful or pushy," murmured the Giraffe, "but we do have one very pressing problem. We are absolutely famished. We haven't eaten in days." "My dear Giraffe," cried the Duke, "how very thoughtless of me. Food around here is no problem." "I'm afraid it's not quite as easy as that," said the Giraffe. "You see, I happen to be—" "Don't tell me," the Duke cried. "I know it already. I'm an expert on all animals of Africa. The moment I saw you, I knew you were no ordinary giraffe. You are of the geranious variety, are you not?" "You're absolutely right, Grace." "Your Grace," said the Giraffe, "but the trouble with us is that we only eat—" "You don't have to tell me that either," cried the Duke. "I know perfectly well that a geranious giraffe can only eat one kind of food. Am I not right in thinking that it's the purple and pink flowers of the tinkle tinkle tree that are your only diet?" "Yes," said the Giraffe, "and that's been my problem ever since I arrived on these shores." "That is no problem at all here at Hampshire House," said the Duke. "Look over there, my dear Giraffe, and you will see the only plantation of tinkle tinkle trees in the entire country." The Giraffe looked. She gave a gasp of astonishment, and she was so overwhelmed she couldn't even speak. Great tears of joy began running down her cheeks. "Help yourself," said the Duke. "Eat all you want." "Oh, my sainted souls," gasped the Giraffe. "Oh, my naked neck, I cannot believe what I'm seeing." The next moment she was galloping at full speed across the lawn and whinnying in excitement, and the last we saw of her, she was burying her head in the beautiful pink and purple flowers that blossomed on the tops of the trees all around her. This is the Giraffe eating the tinkle tinkle trees, purple and pink flowers. That was a mouthful. As for the monkey, the Duke went on, "I think you will also be pleased with what I have to offer. All of my estates, there are thousands of giant nut trees." "Nuts!" cried the monkey. "What kind of nuts?" "Walnuts, of course," said the Duke. "Walnuts!" screamed the monkey. "Not walnuts. You don't really mean walnuts. You're pulling my leg. You're joking. You can't be serious. I must have heard wrong." "There's a walnut tree right over there," the Duke said, pointing. The monkey took off like an arrow, and a few seconds later he was high on the branches of a walnut tree, cracking nuts and guzzling whatever was inside. "That only leaves the Pelly," said the Duke. "Yes," the Pelican said nervously, "but I'm afraid what I eat does not go on cheese. I only eat fish. Would it be too much trouble? I wonder if I were to ask you for a reasonably fresh piece of haddock or cod every day?" "Haddock or cod!" shouted the Duke, spitting out the words as though they made a bad taste in his mouth. "Cast your eyes, my dear Pelly, on over to the south." The Pelican saw looked across the vast rolling estate, and in the distance he saw a great river. "That is the river Hamp," cried the Duke, "the finest salmon river in the whole of Europe." "Salmon!" screeched the Pelican. "Not salmon! You really don't mean salmon! It's full of salmon," the Duke said, "and I own it. You can help yourself." But before he had even finished speaking, the Pelican was in the air. The Duke and I watched as he flew full speed towards the river. We saw him circle over the water, then he dived and disappeared. A few moments later, he was in the air again, and he had a gigantic salmon in his beak. I stood alone with the Duke on the lawn beside his great house. "Well, Billy," he said, "I'm glad they're all happy, but what about you, my lad? I was wondering if you have just one little extra special wish all to yourself. If you do, I'd love for you to tell me about it." There was sudden tingling in my toes. It felt as though something tremendous might be going to happen to me as I knew. "Yes," I murmured nervously, "I do have one extra special little wish, and what that might be," the Duke said in a kindly voice. "There's a little old wooden shop near where I live," I said. "It was called the Grubber, and long ago it used to be a sweet shop. I've wished and wished that someday someone might come along and make it a—" "Somebody!" cried the Duke. "What do you mean, somebody? You and I will do that. We'll do it together. We'll make the most wonderful sweet shop in the world, and you, my boy, will own it." Whenever the old Duke got excited, his enormous mustaches bristled and jumped about. Right now they were jumping up and down so much it looked like he had a scroll on his face. "By God, sir," he cried, waving his stick, "I shall buy the place today. Then we'll all get to work, and we'll have the whole thing ready in no time. You just wait and see what sort of sweet shop we are going to make out of this Grubber place of yours." It was amazing how quickly things began to happen after that. There was no problem about buying the house because it was owned by the Giraffe and the Pelly and the monkey, and they insisted upon giving it to the Duke for nothing. Then the builders and the carpenters moved in and rebuilt the whole inside of the house, so once again it had 3 floors. On all these floors they put together rows and rows of tall shelves, and there were ladders to climb up to the highest shelves and baskets to carry what you bought. Then the sweets and chalks and toffees and fudges and nougats began pouring in to fill the shelves. They came by airplane from every country in the world, the most wild and wondrous things you could ever imagine. There were gum twizzlers and fizzwinkles from China, froth blowers and spit slizzers from Africa, tummy ticklers and gobblangers from the Fiji Islands, and lip lickers and plush nuggets from the land of the midnight. For a whole 2 weeks, the flood of boxes and sacks continued to arrive. I could no longer keep track of all the countries they came from, but you can bet your life that as I unpacked each new batch, I sampled it carefully. I can especially remember the giant whangdoodles from Australia, each one with a huge ripe red strawberry hidden inside its crispy chocolate crust, and the electric fizz cocklers that made every hair on your head stand straight up on end as soon as you popped one into your mouth. And there were nish nobblers and gum gobblers and blue bubblers and sherbet slippers and tongue rakers. As well as all this, there was a whole lot of splendid stuff from the great Wonka factory itself. For example, the famous Willy Wonka rainbow drops. Suck them and you can spit in 7 different colors. And his stick drop for talkative parents. And his mint jujus, which would give the boy next door green teeth for a month. On grand opening day, I decided to allow all the customers to help themselves for free, and the place was so crowded with children you could hardly move. The television cameras and the newspaper reporters were all there, and the old Duke was stood outside in the road with my friends, the Giraffe, the Pelly, and the monkey, watching the marvelous scene. I came out of the shop to join them for a few moments, and I brought them each a bag of extra special sweets as a present. So this is the opening of the shop. You can see how hectic it is and how popular the Grubber is going to become. To the Duke, because the weather was a little chilly, I gave some scarlet scorch droppers that had been sent to me from Iceland. The label said that they were guaranteed to make the person who sucked them as warm as toast, even if he was standing stark naked in the North Pole in the midwinter. The moment the Duke popped one in his mouth, thick smoke came gushing out of the old boy's nostrils in such quantities that I thought his mustaches were going up in flames. "Terrific!" he cried, hopping about. "Tremendous stuff! I'll take a case home with me." To the Giraffe I gave a bag of galumptious glob gobblers. The glob gobbler is an especially delicious treat that is made somewhere near Mecca, and the moment you bite into one, all the perfume juices of Arabia go squirting down your gullet one after the other. "It's wonderful!" cried the Giraffe as a cascade of lovely liquid flavors poured all the way down her long throat. "It's even better than my favorite pink and purple flowers." To the Pelican, I gave a big bag of fishlet. Fishlet, as you probably know, are bought by children who are unable to whistle a tune as they walk on the street, but long to do so. They had a splendid effect on the Pelican, for after he put one into his beak and chewed for a while, he started singing like a nightingale. This made him wildly excited, as pelicans are not known as songbirds. No pelican had ever been known to whistle a tune before. the monkey I gave a bag of devil drenchers, those small, fiery black sweets that one is not allowed to sell to children under 4 years old. When you suck a devil drencher for a minute or so, you can set your breath alight and blow a huge column of fire 20 feet into the air. The Duke put a match to the monkey's breath and shouted, "Blow, monkey, blow!" A sheet of orange flame shot as high as the Grubber house, and it was so wonderful. "I've got to leave you now," I said. "I must go and look after my customers in the shop." "We must go too," said the Giraffe. "We have 100 windows to clean before dark." I said goodbye to the Duke, and one by one, I said goodbye to my 3 best friends I had ever had. Suddenly, we all became very quiet and melancholy, and the monkey looked as though he was about to cry as he sang me a little song of farewell. "We have tears in our eyes as we wave our goodbyes. We loved being with you, we 3. So do please now and then come and see us again, the Giraffe, the Pelly, and me. All you do is to look at a page in this book, because that's where we always be. No book ever ends when it's full of your friends, the Giraffe, the Pelly, and me." And here is a very touching goodbye scene. And that is the book, The Giraffe, the Pelly, and Me by Roald Dahl. I really enjoyed this book, and I hope you guys did too. Remember to subscribe to this channel, Camp Quaranteens, for more content, more book reading by me, more cookie recipes, more news, more facts, more information, more art. We want you to spend so much time with us. If you liked this book, I recommend you check out other books wrote by Roald Dahl. They're perfect for just reading on the go. You can see how small this one is. It was only about 35 minutes read, and it was perfect. For the kids who read this, I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what kind of sweet you would love from the Grubber. I think I would love to try the devil drenchers. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you from everyone at Camp Quarantine. Goodbye!